tied at the top at 3-0 apiece. Raiders at 1-2, tied with the Bulldogs at 1-2. King Cobras and the Huskies tied at the bottom at 0-3. Over in the NFC, we have the Seahawks and the Buccaneers tied at 3-0. Warriors at 2-1. Cowboys 1-2. Patriots 0-3. Broncos 0-3. So, Syke, looking over at the standings, anything really jump out to you? We're only 3 games in, but anybody's position, anybody you think would be doing better to this point, or is it kind of as you have expected so far?
My two biggest or not questions, but my two biggest circleums are the Mustangs at 3-0. I think that's a better spot than most outside of the Mustang organization thought that they would be. Um, let's see. And let's see. I would say that I do not think that the Patriots believe they would be at 0-3. So those are two, I think I would say, biggest surprises of the season so far. And the card that you gave me, I think you've got us at 1-2. We should be 2-1.
2-1?
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. Fault. My fault.
All good.
Fault. I even said it.
I know you said 2-1. That's why I didn't think anything about it. I looked at your card you gave me. I was like, wait, he wrote 2-1.
Oh, yeah. Raiders 2-1. My fault.
All good, fam.
Doing this at last minute.
I know, man.
But I mean, I look over kind of an AFC much kind of as I expected, really. Titans and Mustangs. You guys being where you were. Y'all and the Mustangs, I figured, would jockey for back and forth. Titans, I think, really have kind of proven themselves to be. And maybe we were just putting a lot on them in the preseason with their win over the Seahawks at that time. I think they asserted themselves up as the #1 spot over there. And then the Mustangs were a team throughout the preseason that, and we well documented in the first show I had some reservations about because I didn't feel that their performance in the preseason was really up to par with what I expected that team to be doing. Needless to say, since the regular season has started, they have performed exactly as I have pretty much expected them to be as I had expected them to be doing prior to seeing them actually play in the preseason. So them being at 3-0 doesn't really shock me. Patriots, I don't think either the Patriots or the Broncos would believe that they would be sitting at 0-3 right now. Broncos, we know, are a work in progress. They have very talented receiver M.W. Johnson. As well, Cash over there and a whole host of talent and young players like Baldev's always able to bring in. Baldev, a solid running back. I don't think that them or the Patriots would have been set back at 0-3 or looking at their schedule, anticipating that to be the outcome so far to this season.
Yeah, I agree there 100%. And I know that you can't bank on those games, but I know that like so far the Broncos have played. I know they've played y'all. I know they played either maybe possibly the Seahawks and the Bucks. I'm not sure. I know they played the Seahawks. I'm not sure if the Bucks were the Bucks. I'm not sure if the Seahawks were their third game or not. But I mean, just about anybody in the league that plays those two can chalk that up as 2 losses. So I don't think those two were the shock. But then they followed the third one. They started out close with y'all and then broke my correct pick streak. Into a million pieces when they dropped the game. So. But yeah, they've. I don't think they would have told you that they would have expected to have been 0-3.
Well, they had the Bucks and the Seahawks. That was their first 2 weeks. So, looking at that, I mean, you have to look at your season with a sense of realism, kind of knowing where your teams are at. And I don't think anybody would have anticipated them to beat either one of those two teams. And coming into the game with us, you definitely give kind of a toss up, really a pick 'em game at that point. But yeah. The Patriots, let's see, they have the Seahawks, they had the Warriors, and then they had the, what was the other one that they had? The Buccaneers, so a rough start for them as well. So, but in any case, we'll jump right on into it. Week 3 reviews, like we said, Syke incurring his first loss of the season on his picks, and we're glad to deliver it for him.
I was going to say, I know that y'all were happy about that.
Yeah, whenever you picked it, I was like, all right. Now we gotta find ways to get on, to gain some ground or create some separation in these picks.
Right.
These are the types of games that we have opportunities to do that.
And
so,
I'll be honest with you.
I said we gotta win this one just so we can give Syke a loss. That was the entire the entire motivation behind us.
I'll be
In
honest
that
with
game.
you. Like right now, I'm sitting next to you, and I feel all right for y'all. For proving me wrong. But if I'd have picked y'all to win and y'all had lost, it would have been an entirely different feeling about the way I felt towards me giving y'all my first incorrect pick.
I
I,
know.
I might have been feeling a kind of way. I ain't even gonna lie, dude. It might would have been on.
Like
So,
like I said though, man, whenever you picked us last week, I said just if it ain't broke, don't fix it. We ain't given any any reason to believe to pick. But in any case, we're gonna kick it off with that. You'd talk about the game a little bit. It was decided as the Pulse game of the week. It was the Cowboys against the Broncos, where the Cowboys came away with the win, 37-20. So it's like I don't know if you watched it, but your thoughts about the teams and what you were able to gather from the game.
which one? I didn't hear which one you
The
said
first
first.
one, the Cowboys and the
The
Broncos game.
Cowboys and Broncos.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it was pretty close at the beginning, and I really thought that the opening few minutes, the Broncos were going to be able to do what they needed to do to contend for a win there. But as the game wore on, you guys just established more and more in control. Excuse me, and were able to pull out with that win convincingly by the time that it was over. So, oh, sorry, I've had a coughing fit now. But yeah, that would be my pretty much my main takeaway from that.
It was a good game. Like I said, I look at every season with a sense of realism, knowing that we were going to start with the Bucks and the Warriors. The Broncos game was one that you felt you had a better chance in than really those first two, as where we set as a team currently. So we felt this game really gave us that opportunity. Had a little adversity early, falling down 14-0, really quick. Had a turnover, pick six. I think they gave them to the 14. A quick drive on our first drive. They were able to capitalize with some quick points on those. But was just really proud. A lot of things are decided in the environment in which your huddle is in your team speak, and everyone was just on point. We were telling everyone just don't worry about it, calm down, it's fine, it's just 14, no big deal. Putting it past, all you can do is worry about the next play, and we were able to do that. So really proud of the team there, and looking forward to this upcoming week against. So definitely going to be a good one, and enjoyed a little cherry on top, given Psyche's first loss as
Yay.
far as the picks go. So all right, that takes us into Saturday, and the early game was the Seahawks against the Warriors. This was my vote for game of the week. It started out in the first half like it was going to live up to that. We all picked the Seahawks. We all were right there. Seahawks win 52-14, just complete domination in the second half. I was able to commentate that game. Warriors kept it really, really close for the duration of the first half. But with this Seahawks team, if you give them an inch, and I said it in the game, they take a whole lot more than just 1 mile. And they were given many opportunities. And then as the game wore on, the Seahawks just really started to assert themselves on both sides of the ball. So a dominating performance by the end. Before a half, the Warriors made it for a very entertaining game. I think me and Billy were on the call in this one. But the Seahawks just did what the Seahawks do in that second half and just completely blew the doors off after halftime. What you guys think?
Yeah, that's the same thing, and it's not an easy task for the Warriors to even have kept it at 14-14. That was a bit, of a surprise. We knew the Warriors were coming back, a little bit stronger than what they closed out last year. But that's no small task to go shot for shot with the Seahawks on any level. I think you saw the Broncos hang with them for 7. Outside of that, and really the Titans' loss, you really haven't seen this team be tied with anybody, other than like at 7.
0-0.
Right, and you can't. I mean, you can date that back to the times they played, against the Dolphins last season when they were the Bills. I mean, even in those games they ended up close, but I mean, before you blinked in each of those contests, it was like 14-0 and 21-0. So this isn't a team that, as far as the Seahawks go, that's used to people hanging close. And so, hats off to the Warriors for hanging 14-14. We know that's where it ended as far as, them hanging with them. But, I mean, you look at this, especially this early in the season, you look for things that you can build on. And that first few minute performance is something that okay, so now you know the tempo and you know what it takes. Now can you stretch that out over 4 quarters? And so that's the type of thing, to me, the most thing that I took away from it. And I hate it for the Seahawks because it's tough for to give real good breakdowns. But I mean, how many ways week in and week out do you just say they showed up, they kicked butt, they left? I mean, after a while, there's just like it feels like you're repeating yourself after every win. So that's a compliment to them as much as anything, just because they have been so dominant for a while. So it will be interesting to see this season, if some teams can make that more interesting, and the Warriors certainly did so for at least a couple touchdowns.
Yeah, you watch the game, and it's just interesting to see a game. It's 14-14 at halftime, and it felt like the Seahawks just walked out and said, "All right, guys, we're done playing this crap," and then just turned it to a whole nother level and just started racking up the points, started creating turnovers. I mean, the the Warriors' offensive line did such a good job in the first quarter. In the second quarter, it's like they forgot how to play football. But they didn't forget how to play football. The Seahawks just went really, like, you kind of, stirred up the hornet's nest a little bit. They played around with you enough, and then they finally are just like, okay, well, we're just going to go in here and just beat you. And it was entertaining to see because we're at halftime, we're talking about the game like, man, this is a really good game. They're keeping it close, they're doing what they need to do, and then by the end of it, it's a blowout, and you're like, you're sitting back and feel like you just got knocked on your butt because you don't even know what happened. Because last time you blinked, it was 14-14, and then it ends up 52-14. But that's how the Seahawks are, man. Whenever they get it rolling, it's good luck. That's just for any team out there. And I'm really looking forward. We're going to talk about the Bucks game, but the Bucks defensively have been strong. Like they allowed 3 points in their game to the Patriots toward the end of the ball game. I think that's the first points they've allowed all season at this point. They've been shutting everybody out. It's going to be interesting to see, Kobe and that defense match up against the offense of the Seahawks. Whenever that matchup comes up, I mean, it's going to be one of the most anticipated matchups of the entire season. Both times that it happens, these two teams are just on a collision course right now with the way that they're playing. The Seahawks dominating, on offense, playing really, really. I mean, dominating on defense as well, and the Bucks doing the same thing. I mean, these are and no bones about it, two of the probably your number one, your number two team in the entire league. So it's going to be interesting to see whenever that does happen. I'm just looking forward to that matchup. Wish it was next week so we could watch it and get to enjoy it. So, but we'll jump on into the late game. That was the Bulldogs and the Titans. We all picked the Titans, and the Titans proceeded to win the game 65-7. No real shocker there. Kind of played out the way I know that I anticipated it going. What were your opinion on the game, Syke? Well said. Cricket. Cricket. Well, we either lost Syke or I'm not hearing him. So,
What about now?
okay, yeah, you're good.
Weird. All right.
All right, Bulldogs Titans.
That's
Titans
funny because
65, Bulldogs 7.
I made a good point and you said well said, and then I was like, oh, cool, he liked how I said it.
Yeah.
And then you just apparently didn't hear it at all. So I
Oh,
don't
no,
know.
I didn't.
I don't know if anybody in the stream heard me. If not, I'll repeat, but kind of a rush through it. I think the Bulldogs are poised to have a very good season. I'll preface that as saying compared to last year, for what they did. I think there's maybe four, maybe possibly five teams in the league right now that I would not give them much of a shot at beating. I mean, I don't. I could name the teams, but I think most people know, the group I'm talking about. Everybody else, I think this squad can hang on the field with and beat. I mean, there's some teams right now that I would say have no shot at beating the Bulldogs. Last year, I never would have said that. There are some teams that I'll say that the Bulldogs are probably within an eyelash of maybe being able to beat, but we're not quite sure yet until they do it on the field, and that's a better spot than I would have put them at last year. So, I mean, do I think that this is a team that's going to win it all? No, but do I think that this team is going to have a fun enough season that they're going to look back and go, wow, man, what a difference from where we were last year, then yes, I do. I think that they're going to have a very good season. The Titans just happens to be one of those teams that I just don't think even by the end of the season they're going to be, ready to compete with on the field. And that's not a knock. The Titans are very difficult for most teams to compete with on the field. So I mean, until people start knocking them off, regularly, then the Titans are going to get that respect. And so having said that, I think that the Bulldogs, they probably learned a little bit about themselves and what will and won't work, against the Titans. And I think they might can keep it close the next time they play. I just don't think they're at a spot yet that they're going to be able to do so.
Like you said, with the vast majority of the teams in the league over 50%, the Bulldogs are going to be beating in competition with, I mean, they're going to be in games. But just like a big chunk of the league, there is those 4 to 5 that are just a lot better right now. Are in a lot better spot, let me word it that way, than where these teams are. And like you said, I expect to see the Bulldogs continue to improve down the road. Improve to the point where I think they're competitive with the Titans, not necessarily, but improve to the point where 65-7 is not going to be your score. I mean, we're going to see the next time these teams match up, because they do play twice, I believe we'll see it shrunk. And not because the Titans are playing any worse, but because I think the Bulldogs will have a better game plan, control the ball, cut down on their turnovers. And whenever you do that, if you just maintain and just manage the game, then your scores start looking better against these top teams because you're not throwing pick, and they're scoring touchdown. Instead, you're grinding it out, even if you're not scoring points, but you're eating up 4 and 5 minutes off the clock, on a drive. If you get a first down, if you get 2 first downs, you can almost kill an entire quarter, off of the entire game. And then you get down toward the end of the game, and it's 21-0, and it's like, well, dang, they hung tough with them for 4 quarters, instead of letting it kind of get lamb blasted at certain points because we get so eager to try to score on those types of teams. But I think that, and we'll see that from a lot of teams as they a lot of teams are still figuring themselves out. I know, like with the Cowboys, we've added just over the past week, I think 4 or 5, maybe 5 new guys who are coming in and playing for us now. And, you're still trying to feel out your team early on in the season. And I think the Bulldogs are doing that, and they've had a fair amount of turnover as well. Adam Bazzarli is going to be huge because he is a very, very talented player, both on the offensive and the defensive side of the ball. And them landing him is going to pay dividends for them down the road because he's going to be able to offer them some plays. And I don't think we're really available to them prior to him showing up on the field. So I'll look for the Bulldogs to get better as well. I just used a lot of words to agree with you.
No, that's all good.
But then we move on to Sunday, and it was the Raiders and the Huskies, and I know this one was near and dear to your heart, Mr. Sight Troglodyte. Me and Tom picked the Raiders, and the Raiders proceeded to win 86-7. No real surprise there. The Raiders up there, if not in that top group, pushing right up at that top group. Currently, and the Huskies are, are where they're at, sitting down at the bottom, 0-3 with the Cobras right now. So you were on the field. If I'm not mistaken, I think you got a fair bit of action in this game. I kept kind of clicking back and forth, and every time I did, I think you were getting a pick or something. So talk a little bit about the game, your team. Good bounce-back performance for you guys, but, whenever you have kind of a rough go of it, it's nice to get a team kind of like the Huskies or something like that to kind of get a bounce-back performance. You guys definitely delivered, no letdown there. So kind of talk about your team in that game.
Yeah, I mean, we did what we wanted to do. I think I had a few picks from what I understand a new nickname, so that was kind of cool.
Encyclopedia.
Right.
You're reading it.
I found it interesting. I was almost ejected for the game. Apparently, people around still have not seen my slam dunk animation, so for the first time in over 2 years, I was flagged for that being flying and had to explain and go dunk again to show no, it's really just an animation. So that was kind of funny, but
hashtag free psych.
Right. And so Horns was ready, son. She had that. She's like, "Psych, dear. I'm afraid I'm gonna have to ask you to leave. You were flying." I was like, "No, ma'am, I wasn't. Hang on, can I show you?" But no, it was a good game. What I came away with from the Huskies is everybody knows between Fontes or not Fontes, Jared,
Jared
and what's the other guy's name? Their leading receiver, the one that QB
Deloney.
sometimes. Yeah, between those two, when one's QB and the other one's pretty much the lead target, vice versa, etc. But I want to throw a shout out to Kara. She had probably 5 or 6 catches in that game, and I don't think. I don't want to blow my own horn too much, but I do believe that we have a formidable secondary. And so for one receiver to consistently make that many grabs says a lot for her. And I was tickled to death for her. She's a friend of mine, so I was happy to see her, doing really well, even if it was at our secondary's expense from time to time. As far as them, I'll leave it there. As far as what I saw from them, um, I hate it. My only disappointment is I was 1 yard away from a pick six. And I think if they'd replayed it, I think I still say I crossed, but no, it's fine. I blame Billy for not being able to give me one freaking block, man. But
You can't count on Billy for nothing.
I know he's watching now, so he'll probably post something sad in the chat here in a minute. But
The only thing you can count on Billy for is to show up when you need a commentator.
right, and he is very very reliable about that. That and a roll tide when you need one.
That's right.
But yeah, I gave him a little grief for that. I was like, but Billy, really? I needed one block, man. But yeah, no, it was a good game. It was a fun game, and we were pretty much lighthearted about like I'm sounding now, through the whole thing. So it was one of those games where we were able to get a little bit quicker with some communication on each other on some things, some things that you want to hope that you get something out of the game, whenever you're in that experience. So yeah, we worked on a few things, and we're off this weekend, so it's all watching. And then I think we got the Broncos coming up week after this. So that's where we're at.
Sounds good. Then the nightcap on Sunday was the Mustangs against the Cobras, and the Mustangs beat the Cobras 84-9. This game, I think the scoreboard HUD was kind of jacked up, so when I kept checking back in, it looked closer than it was. But the Cobras get 9 points on the board against a very good Mustangs team. And Mustangs continue to do what they're going to do, but really happy to see the Cobras get some points on the board against one of the teams that are sitting up there in that top position, which are the Mustangs right now. Sitting undefeated up there at 3-0 with the Titans. So, but the game went. Other than that, I mean, it went pretty much as expected. Mustangs just rolled through it. Marlowe, I think, was player of the game. I think they put Blaze at receiver for this one, and Mustangs just on a roll right now, playing really good football all the way across the board. So, what did you think from?
I did not get to take that one in outside of just reading the stats and following afterwards, so I don't have a whole lot of healthy dialogue to offer on that one, other than it's not really a surprise to look at the score, to picture that the Mustangs won by that margin. Having faced that offense, they've got quite a few talented receivers, and so that was good to see, from them to put that up. And I don't know, was the 9 a 7 and a 2 or 3 field goals?
I wasn't really watching it.
Oh,
So
well, all right then. So
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say probably 3 field goals. Somebody in the
see,
crowd
I don't know
or
what's
in chat.
now
Correct us.
here's the question though. What is more believable, that they'd have 3 scoring drives or 1 scoring drive for a touchdown and then get a safety? What
Probably 1 scoring drive and a safety.
I see that as being the more realistic possibility. I
Yeah.
could be wrong though. So
Somebody educate us, please.
right.
Every time I checked in, they had already, I don't know. I think the scoreboard HUD was off, and every time I was checking in, the score was wrong or something. I don't know. In any
Um,
case, they got 9 points somehow.
right.
They
Well,
did.
we have confirmation from a player, I believe, that it was a 7 and a 2. So
Oh, yeah.
I can
More
believe it.
believable.
Yep.
If it would have been 3 field goals, that would have been very good.
Now,
For me, that would have been very, very impressive.
now this is gonna. Oh God, let me just preface this right now by saying I don't mean this nearly as offensive as this is going to sound. This
Oh,
is
Lord.
one of those questions. Because I mean this as a compliment to the Mustangs defense. I honestly do. So I'll ask you the question, Matt. Having not seen it, where did the touchdown come from? Is it most likely an offensive drive from the Cobras or a pick six if Marlowe was QBing? That's why I thought that it was
Do,
going to sound disrespectful. But
do I? Uh, you're gonna make me sound like the jerk
I
here?
mean, I'm picking the second of those two. I'll just go out and first say I believe that
I
she
would
through a pick
say
before I
that too.
believe that they drove.
We're gonna be wrong. They're gonna say that they hit a deep pass or something across the middle flow, connected with one of their receivers or something. It's gonna
Oh, okay.
happen, but
All right. They
I
had
don't
a
know.
they it was an offensive one. They had a deep receiver wide
See,
open.
you
So
you made us look like complete
well,
and
no,
total jerks. You couldn't just let it go.
I was asking. I mean, look,
I
that
was I
those are
was trying to
compelling questions.
I was trying to stall until
Somebody
and
answered.
there goes Mercy saying just calling us jerks, saying we're rude.
That's
No,
not
dude.
rude though. That's not rude. And
Tore off. Tore off. Hey, hey, everyone, we're moving on.
Toroff can't call nobody rude this week.
That's right.
Where's he
Tore off,
at?
tore off is on
He's gonna
Facebook silence right
right.
now.
He's gonna come
That's
charging me in
hilarious.
just a minute. Look at him, so angry looking back there. Oh,
It's all that hair. All
I'm
that
gonna
fake
leave
hair.
him alone before he comes and rips my head off and
Bring
gives it to a kid for trick or
Viking
treating
lord.
or something.
But
Yeah.
he'll make you into a jack-o'-lantern. They're gonna put candy in your mouth.
Right.
But in any case, um, so yeah, really good job there by the Mustangs, just continuing to roll. It doesn't matter. I mean, they're regardless of whatever we say, talent all the way across the board. We're believed early to be one of the top teams, proving to be one of the top teams, going to be one of the top teams throughout the duration of the entire season. So a really good job there. All right, Monday, the end of the week, and was the Patriots against the Buccaneers. We all picked the Bucks, and the Bucks proceeded to win it 77-3, earning the first points of the season, but it only coming in a field goal late. Um, just another very dominating performance. A lot of interceptions. I think there were like 2 or 3 pick sixes in this game. Defensively, just stout as always. Offensively, Gerald, quarterback. I think for the majority of the game, I think Toroff came in. He tried his hand. He threw an interception. So shout out Toroff for that. Um, if I'm
Right.
not mistaken, I could be wrong.
He threw a
Oh,
couple.
sorry, he threw 2. All right, I want to give him credit. He's correcting me, so I want to give Toroff credit. He threw 2. But you know, I'll put a lot of people back there at quarterback when the game's 77-3. You can do that. Defense just didn't allow anything outside of just allowing them into field goal range. And as soon as they got into field goal range, I was like, if I'm the Patriots, I'm going to kick this point. If we were playing, it's one of the things about our game with whenever we play the Bucks, we got down into field goal range and then we gave up like a 20-yard sack, which is, you know, you just can't do that. But I was like, man, we could kick a freaking field goal here, and it'd be like 7-3. I just wanted points. I would have made sure you guys would not have had this shutout on us. So I'm with the Patriots on that one. But Buccaneers, a top team, 1 or 2, depending on who you ask, rightfully deserving of all the accolades that they've gotten to this point. And it's going to be really, really interesting moving forward. Looking forward to watching this team continue to get better and gel. And that deep, I mean, it's just going to be even tougher as the season goes on, and this team even gets more and more experience and time together under their belts. It's just like watching the Seahawks. It's just a thing of beauty. That's just how the game should be played. And the Buccaneers do a really good job at that. So, psych. Well, of course, we all picked the Bucks. We all were correct on that one. Your thoughts, Bucks, Patriots, 77-3.
Yeah, if you watched the game, you saw a very interesting, will require further discussion and rule implementation play, the very first play of the game. They've confirmed it on video, what everybody thought they saw. We've figured out you can actually block a kickoff. We've just figured out that as far as the rules are concerned, you can't. So that was a pretty healthy discussion there. But yeah, that was an interesting take on the field. The thing that I got as far as streaming it, I hate I couldn't be on the sim to do the voice, but there was only 2 commentators, so I had to sit back on the commentating sim. You know, from at least the commentating side, it seemed like a really fun game. As far as like the Bucks seemed like they were having a lot of fun out there. You know, I don't think that the Pats were all that, you know, incredibly upset. I could be wrong. So if I missed that just from being you know, on the other sim, then I might be. But yeah, it just seemed like a kind of laid back, just another game for the Bucks as far as they just show up and hammer people. I think the farther you go into this season, we've talked about the defensive unit, the more and more coaching that uh, that Kobe gives to that team. My mind just went completely blank there. But the more coaching that Kobe gives to that team, then I think the more that you're going to see. Also, if you notice that, I mean, if you've scrimmed them or if you've watched them play, they have had a lot of movement. I mean, we all know who the Bucks are, but I've scrimmed them and seen probably 8 and 9 different, like significantly different lineups from them as far as because people haven't been able to be there and whatnot. And I think the more that they are able to show up and gel like with that one particular unit, then I think you're going to see more and more of a payoff from what Kobe is coaching those guys up on.
Definitely. I mean, the defensive leaders, and he'll let you know all the accolades in which he has won over his illustrious career, and bring that to the Bucks with just top talent at every position, a well-oiled machine whenever it gets rolling. Like I said, collision course, Seahawks Bucks, just start the countdown clock now, because if you're a fan of football and you're not looking forward to that game, well, then you're just biased to your own team. That's all I'm gonna say. But we'll roll back through the scores one more time. Friday was kicked off with the Cowboys against the Broncos. Cowboys winners in that one, 37-20. Seahawks against the Warriors. Seahawks 52-14. Bulldogs against the Titans. Titans 65-7. Raiders at the Huskies. Raiders 86-7. Mustangs against the Cobras. Mustangs 84-9. And the Patriots against the Buccaneers. Buccaneers 77-3. That brings our season totals on picks so far. Matt 15-0. Syke and Tom 14-1. So as we know, there are no games on Saturday because we're not having any games on Halloween. So one free day this weekend. But the lineup looks like this. Friday, it'll all be kicked off with the Bulldogs at the Mustangs. That'll be Friday at 6. Sunday at 4, it'll be the Patriots against the Cowboys. And then at 7, it'll be the Broncos against the Warriors. Monday, it'll be the Cobras against the Huskies. So, psych, we have to pick a game of the week this week. Kind of a slim pickings because 4 teams, will not play in this upcoming weekend. So, looking at the games, like I said, you got Bulldogs and Mustangs, you got Patriots, Cowboys, you got Broncos, Warriors, and Cobras, Huskies. Who do you give your nod to for the game of the week?
Well, let's see. I am going to vote. I hate doing this because I know you won't, but I'm going to just tell you to shut up and let me pick this one. But I really feel like the most compelling one on paper is going to be the Patriots and Cowboys, because I feel like that's the most closely contested game that will be of relevance as far as placement and standing goes. And I'll get into more, I guess, when we do our individual game breakdowns and predictions in a few. But if I had to pick one between all of those, that's the one I would circle. With the second one, probably going to Broncos and Warriors if I had to pick a second place. And then third, I'd probably go Cobras and Huskies, which will probably be competitive. For those two. I don't think the Bulldogs and Mustangs is going to be all that close. I think it will be the friendliest blowout you've ever seen. There's a lot of family on both of those teams, so that's why I say that I think it'll be the happiest little butt kicking that you've ever seen. But yeah, that's why I would not pick that one for the game of the week, and I'd stick with the Cowboys and Pats.
All right. Well, I don't pick my own games, but since there's only 2 of us.
Well, you need to this week. Just hush and take it. Just hush and take it.
All right. Well, we'll go game of the week. We'll do Patriots against Cowboys and lock that in. Okay. All right. So we'll start with our picks now, and of course we have time, and it's not that many games, so we'll chat about them a little bit. Bulldogs at the Mustangs. You already gave your prediction and kind of what you expect, but anything else you want to say about this game?
No, I just, like I said, I mean, I expect the Piers girls over on the Mustang side to be offering like cupcakes and brownies to the ones over on the Bulldog side, but it's just not going to go. I don't think it's going to stay close. Like I said, it'll be the friendliest little butt kicking this week. They'll have a lot of fun, but I just don't think score wise that it's going to stay that close.
Cordial on the sidelines, maybe not on the field.
Yeah, and well, and probably even on the field after every play, but not actually during the play.
Good job, buddy. Good job, friend.
Right.
That kind of thing.
Way to go, sissy. That type of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I agree with that. Like I said, these two teams, no hard feelings between them. Lots of love and enjoyment between the Bulldogs and the Mustangs, but the Mustangs are just way better right now. Like we said, one of the top teams in the league, and they'll show it in that game as well. So I think kind of more of the same. Maybe, looking at, I don't think it'll be 84-9 like they won last week, but it'll be a wide margin for sure in that game. All right, so then no games on Saturday. We'll jump in Sunday, the early game. You'll be the only one picking this one. I, of course, picked the Mustangs in the above game. Will be the Patriots at the Cowboys. So let you talk about what you expect and who you think will win.
Oh, so see, this is just one of those that I can only lose. Um, Man, I wish I knew, like I said, if Tupac was going to be there. Um, Having seen what I've seen recently, I feel like you guys are on a bit of an upswing. And I honestly, outside of the competition against the Bucks, have no information on the Pats and where their heads at. Uh, you know what? I think I'm gonna put the pressure on you. I think I'm gonna say, all right, I'm gonna pick Cowboys, and if you give me your second loss, then that means that you take one. So,
I'm not taking one.
well, no,
I'm
on the
picking.
field, on the say,
Oh,
on the
oh,
field.
okay. Okay, I got you. Loss for a loss. I get you. I got you.
Yep.
Yeah, we've scrimmed against the Patriots a good bit, and it's always very entertaining games between us. Like I said, you can't take much from scrims when you actually get on the field because things are always different. We all know that they're a completely different team whenever Tupac is out there. They did add Pit Dog back, which does make a difference. He's a very dynamic player for them. Offensively, can do a little bit of everything: pass, run, really good receiver. So it's going to be very, very important that if Tupac is there, of course, we pay attention to that. As everybody knows, you have to really lock him down because 9 times out of 10, the ball is going to be chunked up to him. And then you just have to win your 50-50 battles. And Tupac is a master at coming down with the ball there. So looking forward to another really good matchup along the same lines as the Broncos game last week. Maybe a little bit more high scoring, I don't know. But it's going to be entertaining for sure. And another one of those games that we've been looking forward to get out on the field. Still, like I said, kind of grooming and growing, trying to fit our, the pieces of the puzzle together. Still have yet to really do that and get that one cohesive unit that gives us the best chance to win on a consistent basis. But definitely working towards that. And the Patriots are going to be a great opponent this weekend to kind of measure ourselves against in that regard. So look forward to a really good game there. And so Syke has picked the Cowboys. First time this season. Let's see if we can make them proud. Come on, boys. Get ready. All right. Into the late game, it's going to be the Broncos against the Warriors. Um, you said probably the second or third, maybe most compelling game this weekend, 2A and 2B. I guess if you look under the Cobras and the Huskies as well, that game's going to be pretty evenly matched with where those two teams are sitting right now. But Broncos at Warriors, who you got and why you got them?
I think I'm going Warriors, just because they've got a more experienced core coming back. This might be one of those really good candidates for a revenge matchup later in the season, as far as like a different outcome. But for right now, sticking with what's right in front of me, I think that the Warriors are a little bit ahead of where the Broncos are at, and think that they might even potentially pull away before the game is over. And I don't know. I see this one as leaning, towards the Warriors. I do think that they are building, a pretty good offense, something maybe even as competitive as they got last season as the Yellow Jackets over there with the Broncos. They've got a really good receiving core and a solid mix of some new and old guys that are, learning how to become a unit, how to not draw coverage onto each other, and that kind of thing. They're still working on. So I think that they're going to do pretty well. I just don't think that their time is here yet as far as trying to catch on some of the guys over at the Warriors like Sikakiri.
Warriors, of course, I say this every week. My kind of surprise look for and watch out. They're going to be good teams. I think these two teams, by the end of the season could be closer, but right now I think they're looking at in two opposite halves of the league. Currently, I think Warriors are more toward the upper part of the league, and the Broncos are kind of that middle of the pack down there as well. With where kind of the vast majority of the league is sitting right now. I think the Warriors take the win in this one as well. Definitely moving in the right direction. They're going to have a bad taste in their mouth. Either feeling they let one get away or knowing they were competitive in a half and let the second half get out of hand. However they want to look at that Seahawks game. I think this game provides them an opportunity to get out back on the field against a capable opponent because the Broncos can score points, they can get stops. They do have players that can make you pay if you let Cash get his system rolling. It'll be a good test for them coming off of a really tough loss against the top team in the league, and see if they can't bounce back against the Broncos. And I think that they will, and pretty comfortably by the time it's all said and done. Probably like a 21 point type win there for the Warriors. But yeah, so I'm gonna pick the Warriors in that one as well. Moving on to the Monday game, and I think this one, if I was to have a vote for game of the week, it may have gone here, just because of I think this is going to be a really competitive ball game, and both of these teams sitting at 0-3. So it's kind of, you talk about undefeated matchup. One's going to come out with a loss. Well, one's finally going to come out with a win. Whenever the Huskies and the Cobras meet up on Monday night, it'll be a good opportunity for these two teams to find some sort of success, because one of them has to win it, and hopefully start setting their course and setting their team in the right direction behind some positive momentum that they can gain from this game. I believe this is the game that I think may be, as far as I know the picks that I have to make, this is the toughest one to pick. I can look at and see where both teams will be capable to come away with a win in this one. But I'll let you go first, see what you got, and see if we
really. I had to go first on y'all. You get to go first. I don't want to go first on that.
I think that the Cobras will win. So I pick the Cobras. I think it's going to be a really close game. I think we're going to be watching this game late. I'm talking like last drive, fourth quarter. Flo. Against the whoever they played. What was the game? The Mustangs. They found 7 points. Somehow somebody gets open, and I believe the Mustangs' defense is better than the Huskies' defense. And if somebody was able to get open just once against the Mustangs, that means that they're going to be able to get open more than once against the Huskies. And Flo, we've seen him. We saw him last season against the Warriors, and I know we're going way back, but he is a capable quarterback. We've seen him make some really good passes, and they have players there who can make plays. But I'm going to give the nod to the Cobras. Don't let me down, boys. I want to stay undefeated.
I would feel a lot better about picking them if I knew if Flo was going to be there, because I don't even know who their backup quarterback is or was. I didn't, like I said, I didn't get to see it. Having said that, I can't give that take. Never mind. But if the Huskies quarterback will stick to the receivers that he knows can throw the ball or can catch the ball, yeah, then he's going to be all right. But there's some that you do it to keep everybody honest. I get that, but just don't. They're not ready yet. So he's got 2-3 people on that team. I say if he can design a pass attack against, then I think that they have a shot. And I haven't seen a whole lot, from the Cobras to make me feel that way. But as far as for their defense, but I just feel like, man, I wish I knew if Flo was going to be there, I might pick the Cobras.
And someone let us know.
Hang on. No, because you didn't know. You made a pick without. So I'm
You're gonna go opposite.
I'm going to go. No. I'm going to go with a very trusted method right here. All right. In my hand is my lucky 50-cent piece, and I've got. All right. The Cobras at heads, and I've got the Huskies at tails. All right.
If this is the UFL, then it's going to be the Huskies because they're tails, and tails never fails.
All right. And so I got whichever one it was going to be, the Cobras.
You picked the Cobras.
I did.
Off of a flip of a coin.
It was tails. That's right.
So in any case, our records can't be different. Now I'm gonna get Tom's picks. He wasn't here with us tonight. So he's not gonna be omitted from this week's of picks. He just won't be on the record. But I will have them recorded here in my little trusty note card. But yeah, so we both got the Cobras in this one. And I do think, if Flo's not there, I feel better about the Huskies. If Flo's there, I don't know. Maybe I'm just living in the past with what he's able to do. But even at the point, I felt like the Warriors, when he beat them, were better than the Huskies are now. Even though the Warriors were really in disarray at that point in the season, last game, didn't care, weren't making the playoffs. They just kind of showed up and got out, But I don't know. I'm very interested to watch it. Hopefully Flo will show up, and if he does, I do believe that the Cobras will win. If not, then and in any case, it's going to be an entertaining game. It's going to be fun to watch. And it's an opportunity for these two teams, like I said earlier, to get their ships pointed in the right direction moving into next week. Then if I'm not mistaken, the NFC, or AFC, excuse me, would only then be left with one team with one loss, with one team with no wins following this matchup. So really starting to kind of spread the victories out well in that side of the conference, and that side of the league as well. So any final thoughts? Looking back, I'll roll through it one more time. Friday, kicking it all off, Bulldogs and Mustangs at 6. We all picked the Mustangs there. Halloween on Saturday. So enjoy yourselves. Eat a lot of candy. Get fat. Enjoy your night off. Sunday we'll be back at 4 for the Cowboys against the Patriots. So pick the Cowboys. Then the late game Sunday will be the Broncos and the Warriors. We both picked the Warriors. And then the Monday night cap to the entire week will be the Cobras and the Huskies. And I picked the Cobras off of thought, and Psych picked the Cobras off the flippable coin. So
That's right.
we both have our ways of picking
right.
these things.
You don't question the method.
Oh, never do. It's just like any, mini, miny, mo. You could have done that. Not have been as effective a method as any as well. So any thoughts? Any final thoughts? I'm looking over what we got this upcoming weekend. If not, we'll do our usual housekeeping duties, and we'll send people on their way to go enjoy their scrims and practices, as they have one more night, if you play it on tomorrow, to get ready for this upcoming.
No, I think I've conveyed everything that I need to convey. I'm probably in enough trouble already with what I have conveyed, so I'll just stick with the said for now, and call it good.
Power ranking show went well this week.
Yeah, it was good.
Are y'all looking for guests on like a weekly basis? I know you asked. I think Billy joined you.
Yeah, Rhino just was running late and couldn't make it, and so I was like, well, why not just pull somebody to keep it a 3-man crew? So.
Gotcha. Good shot. I got to catch the majority of it whenever I woke up from my nap, as I usually do when I get home from work during the day. So.
Very nice.
Nice, yes. But all right, as we usually say, if you want to be a part of the media team, if you want to do what we do, run your mouth, whether nobody's listening, and pretend people care. Please contact me, Matt Asadar. You can contact Site Troglodyte. Anybody really that you see with a media tag on, and they can point you in the right direction. If you'd like to be a referee, we always are needing refs. We will never have too many refs in this league. Contact Rasden McAndrews or Raz09 Resident. You can also, as I always say, contact me, Psych. Anybody really in the entire league, and they will point you in the direction that you need to go as far as getting information. If you'd like to be a photographer, contact Duchess Button or one of us up here, and we'll get you where you need to go. If you're interested in being a sponsor for the league, contact Marlo Edenflower with our marketing department to get that set up. If you would like to sponsor any segment or be a part of the Pulse, just contact one of us up here, and we'll get you all the information you need in terms of being a sponsor and getting your name tagged onto our show each and every week. We would greatly appreciate anyone who does that with us. We had some really great sponsors last season. Hopefully you can get some more incorporated this season as well. But I think that's about it. You guys have a great night. Have a great weekend. Happy Halloween. Enjoy yourselves. He's Site Troglodyte. I'm Matt Asadar. This empty chair right here was supposed to be Tom Box. He didn't make it. But we will see you guys next Thursday right here live, 5 p.m. SLT with the Pulse. See you then.
Later, everybody.